Nate, you ready? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Chair Ross Ritter, and I call to order the Encinitas Parks and Recreation Commission on October 21st at 5:30 p.m. Let's start off with a roll call. Mr. Fisher.
All right, let the record show all commissioners are present except Commissioner Kimball.
Thank you. And for those who can, please stand with me for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please take your seats. And just as a reminder for both the commissioners and our guests, if you please check your cell phones to make sure they're in a do not disturb mode, that would be fantastic. And our first order of business today, item number 4, special presentations. We have Nicole White to present on our sister city recap. So looking forward to hearing your presentation.
Okay, all right. All right, well, thank you for having us and letting us share a little bit of information about the Sister City Exchange that took place this summer in Encinitas. My name is Nicole White, and I am the supervisor that is lucky enough to be involved with this program that Encinitas has. A little bit of history. The Sister City program was started in 1988, and it has been running every year since for 37 years. The program is youth-focused, and it alternates years between us sending delegates from Encinitas, youth delegates, to Amakusa, Japan, and then alternating years we accept youth delegates from Amakusa here in Encinitas. Last year we sent 3 high school age delegates to Amakusa, and this year we received 6 youth delegates from Japan and 2 adults. We had local families that were served as hosts for all of these people here in Encinitas, including 3 youth commissioners. One of them is right here with me, Samantha. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to show you a recap video of their week here in Encinitas. And then afterwards, Samantha will share a little bit about her experience, and then we'll see if you have any questions.
On July 29th, Encinitas welcomed delegates from Amakusa, Japan as part of the Sister City program. 6 students, a dedicated teacher chaperone, and a city official from Amakusa spent the week experiencing our vibrant coastal life firsthand. The delegates received a warm welcome, with fantastic swag, gifts, and clothes donated by Encinitas 101, the Encinitas Chamber, and Cardiff 101. These gifts filled backpacks from Hanson's, along with sunscreen and some other gifts from Sunbum. The week was packed. Activities included hitting the waves for surf lessons from Concept Surf Shop, enjoying beach volleyball at Moonlight Beach with lessons from St. John Smith Volleyball. They also took an exciting e-bike tour down Coast Highway 101, thanks to rentals from Trek and Charlie's e-bike. An unforgettable experience for the students was skateboarding lessons with local Olympian Bryce Wetstein, an experience donated by the Kelly family, who also opened their home to host a delegate. Bryce made the students feel welcomed and comfortable, with many of the students excited to continue skating back in Japan. The delegates also got creative. At Pacific View Arts Center, they screen printed their own tote bags and participated in Pacific View sessions. A major highlight was a visit to Petco Park. The Padres organization generously donated Japanese heritage hats and Japanese translated tour of the facility. After the tour, the delegates watched a thrilling Padres win, and a lucky few left with priceless memories during warm-ups. Our guests from Amakusa were excited to try a wide array of food in Encinitas. A very large breakfast was donated by Swami's Cafe. A lively fiesta, hosted at the Encinitas Library, featured delicious tacos from El Nopalito and a performance from Ballet Folklorico. Encinitas firefighters grilled burgers and hot dogs at Encinitas Fire Station 2, and thank you to Aliana's Party Rentals for making it possible to host these events throughout so many locations in the city. Sweet tooths weren't forgotten. A tasting experience was enjoyed at Choice Juicery, delightful donuts from Broad Street Doco, and delegates cooled off with ice cream sandwiches from the Baked Bear. City Council, staff, and members of the Youth Commission joined in on various activities throughout the week, sharing their local insights and building connections. The delegates departed for Los Angeles on Monday, August 4th, before heading back to Amakusa. they carried with them more than just souvenirs. They took home fantastic experiences, and most importantly, new friendships that bridge oceans. None of this would have been possible without the incredible dedication of the Sister City Committee and all the wonderful host families who volunteered their time and opened their homes and hearts to our friends in Amoxa. Your generosity truly made this trip memorable. The Sister City program continues to build lasting connections, reinforcing the strong commitment to a cultural exchange shared by both our communities.
Hi, my name is Samantha Merrick. I was a new host this year. I was excited about the opportunity to show off Encinitas, and I really loved taking Rico, our delegate, to the beach and to Annie's Canyon. I was surprised by how much I learned about Encinitas by being a host. It was a really great experience.
Go ahead. So as you can see, the exchange is both fun and meaningful. The delegates from Japan, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to experience life as a teenager in Encinitas. And for our local students, it's an opportunity to learn about the Japanese culture, practice leadership, and build friendships that can last well beyond when the trip is over. One of the powerful things about Encinitas' program is that youth are at the heart of the program. So host students step up as cultural ambassadors, showing our guests what makes Encinitas special, but also learning about their own city through new eyes. One of the comments that we had when we debriefed after the program was that so many of the youth hosts said that they hadn't even been to a couple of the locations, or that they now appreciate some of the attractions and nature that we have here after seeing it from the eyes of somebody else who hasn't been here. I did want to read a couple of quotes that we received that we thought were pretty much summed up the strength of this program. So the first one was received by one of the host families after the delegates went home. It was sent by the mother of one of the youth delegates. She said, I am Ibuki's mother. I would like to thank you very much for the hospitality you gave to Ibuki during her recent stay in the United States. She seemed to enjoy her life there very much and was very happy. When she returned home, her first words were that she wished she could have stayed in the U.S. longer. Those words show how wonderful of a time they had there. Thanks to all the host families. Thank you very much for the gifts you gave to our family. We will take good care of them. For Ibuki, the time spent with you all was a lifetime memory. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And then I received communication from my counterpart in Amoxa, who organizes the exchange on her end. She works for the city and also for the, I guess it'd be like the school district. They operate together. And she sent me a message and said, according to the chaperones, not only the City Hall staff, but also many members of the Sister City Committee and the school warmly welcomed them. They felt that the entire city of Encinitas was involved, and they were deeply moved, saying that this is the true meaning of Sister City Exchange. They are now very eager to welcome you next year in an even better way. Just a couple quotes that I think really summarized this program. And having had the opportunity to communicate with other cities throughout California, especially that have sister city programs, I do want to let you know that the program here in Encinitas is really a treasure. It operates in a pure form where we cultivate with the committee and the host families the experience that the youth will have when they come here. We don't hire out a travel agent to do that. And as you saw from the video, it was definitely a community effort. All of those businesses engaged, chose to be engaged to make that experience so special for our visitors. And we wanted to put forth that effort because we had the same experience last year when we went to Amoxa and they received us. So, do you have any questions about the program? I don't know if it's new to any of you, or if you were here, I will be here every year telling you about this program because it's so amazing. But if you have any questions, or if you have any questions for Samantha, we usually have several youth up here, but we've got some pretty busy youth, so they're highly engaged. But if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Open it up to the commission with any questions.
Yeah, I have heard of this program, and I guess I'm curious throughout the. Well, first question would be: is it something that's you find students that want to participate? Is that through the high school outreach? Is that like how do you advertise that? And then second question to that is, it's just something where this group meets regularly throughout the year in between these exchanges. And do they like engage in like, letter exchanges or whatever the equivalent now, emails?
Okay, I do know that those are all good questions. I know that there has been some communication ongoing between families. I know that the students that went to Amoxa last year are still in communication with the families that hosted them. I went as well, and I am still in communication with the family that hosted me. And I know that there has been some dialogue with the delegates that came out here this year to stay in communication, which is nice. In terms of next year, so next year when we will be choosing, the Sister City Committee will be choosing the delegates that will represent Encinitas and Amoxa. The delegates chosen are in high school. They need to be an Encinitas resident, and they need to be in 9th or 10th grade, so a freshman or sophomore, because we do ask that the following year they host as well, so we want to make sure they're not on their way out the door to college. We want them to be here and host. So we do accept 9th and 10th graders, and the committee, there is a essay component, there is an application, and then there was an interview with a panel to select the final delegates. And then I think you had one other question in there.
Or just like how the outreach is, like how do you normally solicit people who are interested in becoming a delegate?
Right. So we do communicate with all of the schools. We do have teacher contacts. For example, at SDA, they have a Japanese language program. And those teachers actually are part of the committee as well and volunteer for that. So we do communicate through all the schools as well as general media that the city puts out. The program is gaining a lot of attention lately, and so there seems to be a lot of interest. On the website, if people reach out to us through the website and say that they're interested in learning more about the program, then we'll add them to our communications list and copy them. The Sister City Committee meets throughout the year. It's quiet right now until January when we return to pick the candidates for next year. But then we also have opportunities for other members at large that might like to join to become more involved, for example, when we host and help us do that planning. So there's lots of opportunities to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. I had the good fortune of traveling to Japan last year for 3 weeks and absolutely love the culture. So I feel like we're extremely fortunate to have such an amazing sister city and such a fantastic country to share experiences with. I was curious with regards to the funding for the program and whether there are opportunities for the public to donate to it to support the program. I was wondering if you could speak to that. Obviously, the business community certainly has donated a lot of things to kind of help support. So I was curious as to how the fundraising or the funding part of it works.
Yes, that's a good question. The city has committed through the past historically to sending 3 youth at no cost plus an adult chaperone to Amoxa. And that's what it has been up to this point. In terms of additional funding or donations, we are able to accept donations for the program. But this year, my first effort with the program was to engage the business community. So that's where we have started at this point. And the committee, when it meets in January, is going to bring up some topics of fundraising or other ways to support the program, if that's where their interest is.
Fantastic. Any other questions from the commissioners? Well, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate you coming in and speaking and giving a personal viewpoint on being involved in the program. So it's certainly added to the presentation. So thank you, Samantha.
Thank you for your
and thank you, Nicole. Moving on to oral communications. Mr. Fisher, what do we have?
So we got 2 speaker slips tonight. The first speaker is Brett Mills.
I'll let Randy actually speak first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Randy.
And just as a reminder, this is run pretty much, oral communication is pretty standard, whether it's the city council or commission. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. You're welcome to share anything you'd like. The commissioners will listen. However, we can't really engage. We may ask some qualifying or clarifying questions, but other than that, we just kind of have to accept your input, and unfortunately, we can't really say a whole lot back. But please, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, and thank you for affording us the opportunity. My name is Randy Knoll. I'm a native from Encinitas. I also happen to have participated in the Sister City program back in 1992, so it's a wonderful program. I would highly endorse it. I'm also the president of the board for Encinitas Express Soccer Club, a youth soccer organization here in town. And I played for Encinitas Express when I was a child as well. So it's over the years, what the city has given to our soccer players has been incredible, because when I was playing, we had one competitive team at each age group, and we practiced at Parkdale Lane and chase the Gophers around on the field. Now we have Leo Mullen that's turf. Now we have ECP that's beautiful. We've done so much for our youth in as far as growing those parks, but our population continues to grow, and we continue to expand housing. We continue to build higher density housing as well, which is great. It brings more youth into our community, but also puts more of a strain on the organizations that are providing those activities, all of the sports organizations that are providing those activities for that youth. So I'm here tonight to speak about, obviously the need for more space, for more fields and all that, but that's a long-term vision. That's something we're not going to solve here and now. But there are some ways that our club, in conjunction with some of the other organizations, have worked together to prioritize some near-term efforts that we can potentially enact that will help us get more field space available to more youth. We can help us serve more youth in the community and help more of our children enjoy playing soccer and football and lacrosse and rugby and everything else that we love to do here in Encinitas. The thing that really brought me, one of the things that brought me here is when Brett Mills, one of our directors, told me that, and it's the first time I've heard of it, I've been on the board of the club for about 5 or 6 years, that all the youth organizations were working together to prioritize these things. So to me, that's a slight change in culture. I think part of it was because it was that activity was fostered by our city government to get the groups together, and we appreciate that support. But when Brett comes up and talks about some of the details, it is a representation not just of Encinitas Express, but of his coordination with a lot of the other youth organizations in the area. And I hope you'll find that some of the proposals that they make are really ways that we can be creative and share the space rather than compete for the space. So I think that's pretty much all I had. So any questions for me?
Thank you. We'll go ahead and go with the next speaker.
Thanks.
Brett?
You could hold the slides up, appreciate it. So my name is Brett Mills, Director of Program Development with Express Soccer Club. And as Randy said, by the help of Margaret and Parker, we've worked with them in smaller meetings and then brought Dave into the rooms to help us get a lot of the things done that we needed. But they thought it would be best that we get in a room with all the other sports organizations more than just the allocation meetings. And so I'm going to just go over a couple of slides that we put together just to reinforce what Randy was speaking about, but our numbers in the sports world and kind of a couple of things that we thought was something that we could get done here and now, and also start planning new parks for the future. So if you want to go to the next slide. So again, just super basic. These are our numbers with Encinitas Express, 2,409 players throughout the year. You can go to the next one. This is the baseball Little League, 1,300 players. Go ahead to the next one. 805 players from lacrosse, and these are just 3 of the organizations that shared their numbers with us. A lot of the others in the community also wanted to be a part of this presentation. I just didn't get their numbers. So if you're looking at just those 3, when you get to a total grand number of the kids that we're representing in the community is up towards 8,000 kids that are playing sports for all of our groups, which should take notice for everybody. as you guys know, and I just wanted to reiterate and put it on a slide, but Encinitas Community Park is one of our newest parks that was built in 2015. To my knowledge, no major renovations have been done to that field, so we sit with baseball and multi-use fields. There is one soccer field that is specific. Leo Mullen built in 2016. There was a renovation, 1997, excuse me, 2016, we were lucky enough to have turf put in at Leo Mullen Sports Park, which has been huge for us as a soccer organization. In my next slides, we'll see that we would like to see more turf, but the YMCA, one of the oldest parks that we have, or facilities, and I know that's kind of a shared with the city, so it's not exactly a city park, but it's used by all of our sports organizations. Baseball fields that we also use with multi-use, one of our few lit fields in Encinitas, and I think 2015 was the last time there'd been any serious renovations of those fields other than what Little League does to their own fields there. Cardiff Sports Park, again, I didn't know the exact date, but in the 1980s, I remembered playing there when I played for Encinitas Soccer as well. We did always have lights there, and 2025, as you guys know, I think you guys are renovating the lights there, so that has been a major project, which we appreciate. So preaching to the choir, you guys know these parks, but just wanted to make sure you guys know that we are appreciative and know the history of these parks, but if you want to go to the next one, as a group, we've come up with these challenges that with the parks that we have, we still do have a lot of challenges. And one is that Randy's 3 minutes or mine?
That is actually yours. What do you have left? Maybe
So we
a
can just
minute?
get through these challenges, and the next slide is the most important one, but is the changes that we think that we could get done in the next bit of time, and that's a renovation of Field 3 at ECP. We also could share the spaces with multi-use permits. Right now, only one sport can be out at those facilities at a time. If we were to divide some of these fields up into two, myself, soccer, and lacrosse or rugby could share space at the same field. But right now, because of permits and because of our insurance, we're unable to do that. So that's something that I think could easily be fixed. And then to create a more collaborative system, Parker does a great job with the system that he has to allocate fields, but I think a system that we see have more visibility of what everyone's doing could be very helpful as well. And I think these are three things that are not 10, 15 years down the line. I think we could get done with lights at ECP3 as part of that. Portable or permanent would be something that we would be asking for in the next short period. And lights, we know that would be portable probably happening first, and turf we'd love to see at ECP3 in the future.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I would ask if you could, since we had to rush through it a little bit, if you wouldn't mind emailing that to Parker, and then he can get that to Manager Norgard.
Yeah, Margaret has it, and she can get that to
then can share it with the commission so that we can look at it.
Perfect, and yeah, we'd understand that it's a starting point, but we'd like to continue to come to these meetings and work through numbers for you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And that was our last speaker?
Yep, that concludes oral communications.
Fantastic.
I'm supposed to share it, Brett. Is there any way I can? Mine's 1 minute. I rehearsed it.
If you go ahead and fill out a form real quick, I'll go ahead and allow you to speak. Just till we're official. Sure, go ahead. While we're waiting for the form to be filled out, just as a procedure or note, in the event that you might decide you want to talk to City Council about your thoughts as well, you can donate time for another speaker. So for instance, if Brett needed 6 minutes to say what he wanted to say, a second person could donate their time to him. So something to consider if you do move forward and want to speak at City Council. You bet. All right, fantastic. Mr. Fisher, who do we have?
Our next speaker is Tom Citrana.
Thank you, appreciate that. Go ahead.
I'm Tom Citrano. I'm the Vice President of LaCoste County Pop Warner. I would just like to say what Brett and, I'm sorry, one more time on Randy was saying, that's not platitudes. We really have come together, and it's about the kids. I don't even have, my boys are in high school now, but I still do this because I love it and I love the community and it's important to me. So I just want to make a couple quick points. This is about all the kids. The main thing, just to bring back COVID again, a couple of the stats when we see what happens when kids lose the outlets to do sports, and the ones I looked up on the CDC website today, 31% increase in emergency room visits for suicide. For girls, that was between 12 and 17 years old. That number was close to 50% during that time period. Obesity rates in children nearly doubled. And they're not numbers. These are, critical to physical and mental health. So it's important for the kids to have a spot to play. And Randy, we're not going to grow our way out of this problem. They're not making any more land in Southern California. We're going to have to light the fields. And I know that the homeowners associations have a stranglehold on those types of rules. But it's something we're going to have to be creative and flexible and maybe even shame a few people. But that is the only way. Girls flag football is coming online now with boys. We're urban density. It's only going to get bigger, and field space issues are only going to become more problematic. We can share so much, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to light the fields to get access to everybody. And I don't think it's not going to disturb anybody's quality of life that much to have lights on the field till 8 p.m. or something like that. We're talking about 3 hours during the winter months is really the kind of the sweet spot. And I went 50 seconds longer than I said I would, but thank you.
And
Thank you. And Mr.
our next
Fisher?
speaker is Chris Perry.
Great.
Hi, I'm the president of Cardiff Soccer League. I've been volunteering in Encinitas sports for about 20 years, 16 with Cardiff Soccer and the YMCA before that. Just want to echo everything that was said previous to me regarding the field sharing. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know some of these guys for a really long time, some of them not even here, that we've worked well with together. Just want to encourage this use of sharing the field simultaneously. All of our sports organizations, I think we should encourage that. We all work together very well, and we welcome the addition of lights. Obviously, I think we could look into new technologies. There are a lot of new technologies with solar poles, with different types of lighting that don't affect the community as much, and also just. We're all doing this for the kids to have more of a opportunity to play, and that's what it comes down to. I think all of us are here probably for that. So appreciate the time, and as long as everything's done fairly and equitably like it's been in the past, I think we'll move in the right direction. But definitely need some progress in the department of getting more access, because the community is not getting smaller, as you know. So. Anything that we can do for lights and field sharing equitable field sharing would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate everyone coming out tonight and sharing your viewpoints. You still got 10 minutes if you need to go see the sunset before it goes, but you're certainly welcome to enjoy the rest of the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting as well. But again, thank you for your comments and your time. Moving on to changes to the agenda. Do we have any changes?
There are no changes to the posted agenda.
All right, let's move on to approval of minutes, starting with the September 16th regular meeting minutes.
Chair, before we approve these ones, I was wondering if you can take a minute to discuss one item.
Under oral communications or?
The minutes.
Okay, I actually had some comments on that item as well, so go ahead.
Okay.
Vice Chair Evers, go ahead and
1 second, let me pull up the
provide any
document.
comments.
And I wish Commissioner Kimball was here because she was part of the discussion. But under item 8B, the action tied to the work plan action for item number 12. I was just wondering if maybe we can just discuss it really quick. My recollection is this content, the flow of it, is what kind of caught my eye. Because the takeaway I had from the last meeting was that that the motion was to look at skate facilities kind of as a whole, including the skate bowl for the city as a whole, and then to move that forward with a memo that included recommendations outlined in B, in the Exhibit B. And so maybe I'm just getting too much into the minutia, but I kind of feel like it's flipped a little bit from what my takeaway from the last meeting was.
And I'm sorry, Commissioner Kimball said she wasn't able to make it today.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, oh, I wish she was here.
But we discussed before the meeting, but not this particular item. But I do know that we are in process of, a memo has already been drafted and
Okay.
sent to Mr. Norgard, and there's been notes back. So I think that's consistent, but if what you're asking is like whether the specific, what our recommendation was, should be in here, is that what you're saying, versus?
Yeah, so the way I read it now, it states that the memo is going to outline what was in the attachment first, and then also explore additional facilities. My takeaway from the last meeting was, though, and maybe it was just my perspective of my understanding, was that we were just kind of broadening it as a whole to have the city make a recommendation to look at the needs of facilities as a whole, including the skate bowl, and then also include some of the information from the exhibit.
Oh.
So it's kind of flipped. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's what I just took away rather than, and I did go back to listen to it, and there were different things kind of said now that, like, I went back and listened to the meeting. So my takeaway was that. So I didn't know if you guys had a kind of thought, or if I'm just looking too much into the weeds on it. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page about it.
Yeah, because we were referencing an exhibit and there was a lot of discussion. I think, I don't know how best to solve that. I do think this is consistent with what was voted for, but if you're wanting to clarify it, my memory wasn't that it was all facilities. I thought it was very skate specific, not just bowls, but also skate park, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But not to like everything else that could be useful, or, that the parks could be used for, but specifically
No,
for
it's
skate.
specific to skating, but like the broadening was for skating as a whole. and
Not
then-
just the bowl.
Not just the bowl.
Okay.
That's, yeah, so
How would you change it to be more consistent to your view?
I guess it's almost flipping it, that the memo would to ask the city to explore additional skate facilities, including the bowl, because that was said in your motion, and maybe also including the recommendations outlined in Exhibit B or something. But it's kind of flipped. But like I said, am I reading into it too much?
Now, the Exhibit B was dealing with skate bowl, and then
Okay.
this is now with the addition of exploring additional skate facilities. That would be in addition to a bowl. So I think that's consistent, but I don't know. I don't know what the right answer.
Do you guys
You guys were all
yeah,
here.
you guys were there, like, yeah. Commissioner Quinn, or do you
I,
guys?
if I might jump in too, so I was absent from the commission meeting, so just wanted to clarify that. However, I did take the time to review the webcast in its entirety and actually concentrated on this issue just because it is so important and was kind of the meat of last month's meeting. I think, too, when we look at that Exhibit B where it says complete a study of possible locations, and then we list specific locations, Moonlight Beach, Glen Park, Encinitas Community Park, and the new L7. While those I think we can certainly consider, I also know that Commissioner Kimball said that it's not an exclusive list, and that, we might also consider Scotts Valley or Olympus or Leucadia Oaks. So I also kind of feel after seeing the presentation online that the general thought of it is that we want to emphasize a feasibility study for skate facilities and calling out the bowl in particular because that's kind of the major impetus for us even kind of discussing this without necessarily lining out specific locations that the ad hoc feels like those are places that we should place it. Because I think that in the reality, what will end up happening is if the city council decides to fund a study, that the consultant is going to take a look at all of the city's facilities. And they're going to get community input. They're going to examine the facilities and determine, based upon their knowledge and experience, what seems to be the best fits, and then make a recommendation to city council. So I feel like, first of all, I respect so much all the hard effort that the ad hoc has spent with the people that are proponents for the escape bowl, working with staff. I mean, I know you guys have spent hours on it. And I would also just like to maybe look at it just a little bit broader from the standpoint of it being that we recommend that the city do a feasibility study.
I think that is the most accurate place we landed, right? Well, that we voted to recommend to the city that they look at doing a feasibility study. And yes, the exhibit had specifics, but we did not want to make that exclusive. So if that's how we want to clarify this, I'm okay with that change. And I guess that would help for making sure to finalize the memo that it's consistent with that. So are you suggesting we change it to that, the ad hoc committee's recommendations?
Well, I would also maybe like to hear Commissioner Quinn, who is also on the ad hoc, to see what his thoughts are on this discussion as well. And then we could kind of decide what we might want to do.
And it doesn't address the other things that Vice Chair Evers brought up about other facilities too. So certainly we could add that as discussed.
And just some of those things that as I was watching the webcast, it looks like she had talked about not only additional skate facilities, but whether they might be some for beginners or some for some adaptive facilities. The idea of improving Leucadia Oaks, I think were topics that were brought up as a suggestion that could be kind of wrapped into that feasibility study.
I might want to add that when we presented this draft to Manager Norgard, he came back with some suggestions, some red lines, and so forth. With this Brown Act thing, we couldn't share it with other commissioners. I wish there was a way around that to get, other than meeting here once a month,
Yeah, I haven't
to get
seen
some
it.
input.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I was just going off the minutes of the piece, so it's good to know. I don't know if there's a way we can share it or.
Well,
but
the
after
process,
minutes.
I think the process is, and I think it all comes back to, and we have to kind of work around the Brown Act, of course. And we also want to be transparent with, obviously, the public as well as ourselves on the commission. So generally, the process is that when it's a work plan item, which this is, we end up at the end of the year. Well, first the ad hoc ends up making their presentations. They discuss their work plan item throughout the course of the year. We get input from the community, from the commissioners, and then at the end of the year, then the commissioners on that ad hoc kind of write up their outcome language. And then at that point, that outcome language gets compiled into the work plan. And then at the end of our fiscal term, then we end up voting to either, we may alter that language slightly, and we've kind of worked through this in the past, or in the end, we end up approving the documents so that all the commissioners are, or at least the majority of them would be in agreement that the outcome language is exactly what it is that we expect it to be. Because this is a situation where we want to basically share this recommendation with City Council earlier than when it normally is done in April or May, we want to be able to get into the budget process, which happens between February and March. So if that's the case, then we need to do a special memo. So what we'll do on this process is the ad hoc will work with staff, kind of work out the language to where it seems like, okay, this is the final recommendation document, and then it will come back to the commission. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll vote on it at that point. Or again, we could also recommend language changes like we would do for our final work plan. So I guess my question to the ad hoc is do you think that by next month's meeting, I think it's on the 18th, do you think you might have time to where you may have worked out that language between yourselves and staff where you could present it to the commission for discussion and approval?
Speaking for myself, yes. I think the ad hoc could get together, be up to Capello, and I know Commissioner Kimball has worked really hard on this and kind of led the charge, and so she's coming back tonight.
Okay.
So we'll reach out to her tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic.
And I agree that we can get this turned around before the next meeting, and I would like to make sure it's done for the next meeting, so because we're dark in December, to try to get it voted. That wasn't necessarily my impression, but it does make sense. I remember, because Commissioner Kimball has put a lot of effort into this, that Manager Norgard, there was a request of, is there some type of reference exemplar memorandum, having this being like the first time that she's worked on this, would be for me as well, so we can see what the memo should look like in a general sense. And now just kind of making sure the language is consistent to what our discussion is. And I think we're almost there with the feedback from Manager Norgard that we can have something that we're comfortable with as an ad hoc, saying this is what we would recommend to be approved.
I think that sounds fantastic for an action forward on that. I would then kind of reference us back to where we're at right now, and that's approving the minutes from the previous meeting. So I guess we need to think about what do we want to include. For instance, do we want to have Exhibit B on the minutes if some things are changing on that to where maybe that's not appropriate to have, and that we just change the wording on the action item that the commission recommends or recommended a feasibility study for skating facilities, and in particular a skate bowl, that study should be done.
It's hard because the motion did include the reference, and so I do want it to reflect the accuracy of the meeting. It was just, from my perspective, the focus and the intent of over the discussion kind of was flipped a little bit. So I don't know, process-wise, should we modify the minutes, though that, if that was a motion? But I'd like the minutes to reflect what I believed our goal was to do, from my perspective.
So I think what you're recommending, Vice Chair Evers, is that we retain the skate bowl recommendation, Exhibit B, and that we just maybe clarify the language under on page 2, it looks like, under the actual action. Is that what you're recommending? So it was under not extending the minutes. Any recommendations from the commission? Manager Norgard, just as our liaison, do you have any recommendations with regards to kind of the spot that we find ourselves in?
Thank you, Chair Ritter. I think you guys are on the right track. It's kind of up to you guys to finalize the language. I think you're close. The exhibit was discussed, but as Vice Chair Evers mentioned, it was broad enough to incorporate all of the skate activities.
Would it help, Commissioner Evers, for your view of what we voted for to add, to adjust the language after, as outlined in Exhibit B, to not be limited to just skate bowls, but to explore other skate facilities? Would that be more accurate?
You mean to remove like with the addition of and just have explore?
Um,
I'm just looking at the language that's here.
How
would you flip it?
I'm suggesting memo ad hoc committee's recommendation as outlined in Exhibit B, but not exclusive to just skate bowls, and to explore additional skate facilities or uses.
I would also, just going back to the point that I raised, is with the addition of exploring additional skate facilities in city locations.
And yes,
Yeah.
that might do it, just doing that, skate facilities and additional, and locations.
So it
Because
broadens
that
it.
was definitely discussed during the course of the work plan. How do we feel about those edits?
I'm sorry, will we take off with the addition of? The addition part is what is throwing me because it seems like the exploring the facilities is secondary.
What if we removed with the addition of, and it became outlined in Exhibit B, and exploring additional skate facilities in city locations?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher, do we have to do a motion to amend that?
You would do a motion to approve these minutes with that change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on approving the minutes, was there anything else that anyone wanted to bring up with regards to the minutes for this meeting? So I had a couple questions on the permitting recommendation slide. The third bullet point, I don't quite understand what it means, and maybe if you could just help me with the clarification of the meaning of that. So it's the actual Exhibit A, commercial summer surf instructions. The bullet point reads, review revised marine safety maps for surf schools with business owners and community, included inform marine safety staff to address questions, get additional feedback.
Is that just like a transparency point?
Chair Ritter, I can speak to that.
Certainly.
There were comments throughout the process with some of the surf schools about making sure that marine safety was present in meetings where we discussed the permitting process and also present with surf schools so that everybody's all on the same page, which we're already doing, but included here just for posterity.
Okay. And then my second point, again, because I watched the presentation online and I was kind of comparing it to this listing here, I noticed that Vice Chair Evers' suggestion regarding having some type of parking mitigation suggestions written into the RFQ process was not included as a recommendation. And the way I understood it was that was something that you were interested in?
I believe in our draft memo, we kind of addressed parking.
Okay. Okay, I see it now. Thank you. It was actually up above in an earlier page and not in the on the permitting recommendation slide. So, so that was on page 2, and it was under 8A, and yeah, it says adding a parking mitigation component to future RFQs. So we have that covered, so thank you. That's the only comments that I have on that. Any other comments or questions? I'll go ahead and move to approve the September 16th minutes based upon that edit on the skate bowl recommendation, where on page 2 that we strike the words with the addition of exploring additional skate facilities, and we will replace it with and exploring additional skate facilities and city locations. Do I have a second?
Second.
The September 16th minutes are approved with Commissioner Kimball absent.
Thank you very much. Didn't know that it was going to take so much work just to get through the minutes, huh? All right, awesome. All right, so let's move on to the September 18th special meeting minutes for the park tour. Absent were Chair Ritter, Commissioner Cormorant, and Commissioner Quinn. So all others will be available to vote. Those 3 should not vote because there's no webcast to view. Do I have a motion to approve the September 16th minutes, please? I'm sorry, 18th minutes.
All motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
And the motion passes.
All right, excellent. All right, so now we can move on to the Parks and Recreation Commission work plan. And we'll just go ahead and start at the very beginning. And item number 1, of course, is the community outreach. And it's the Park and Recreation annual tours. Of course, we completed our last tour last month, doing the park tour. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I understood it was a great tour, and you were pretty busy moving between locations. You had quite a few locations. And what was exciting about this tour is we actually hit a lot of parks that you don't normally go to on a park tour. So it's great to see some of the diversity in our parks and then also be aware of some of the things and the changes that are happening to them. So did the commission have anything to say with regards to the parks tour? Anything from the ad hoc members? All right, so we'll move on to work plan item number 2. So we have the holiday parade coming up. That's December 6th or so, I think, if I remember correctly. And so the lead commissioner on that is Commissioner Cormorant. Do you have anything to report?
We put our application in. I think we still owe them a theme, which I think we need to come up with. Unfortunately, it turns out I'm going to be out of the on travel during that parade, so I'm going to turn the lead over to this to George here.
Congratulations, George.
I mean, in fairness, I was in charge last year, and I also didn't make the parade because I was out of town. I think I was in London. Anyway, yes, I'm working on some theme that we can all be okay with. You said last time just to come up with something. You don't want a discussion about it now. We'll figure it out, right?
Sounds good. Awesome. We look forward to hearing about the theme. And we also have another event coming up with regards to movie in the park, but we'll wait until the pop-up park section of that to kind of discuss that. Vice Chair Evers, did you want to speak to guest speakers for monthly meetings?
I have no updates.
I'd like to maybe throw out a suggestion, and I know that the commission last month went ahead and discussed exposure skate a bit, and they the commission's decision was to go ahead and hold off on making any recommendations until the November meeting. So I thought it would be an excellent opportunity that perhaps we might reach out to Exposure Skate to see if they might want to come in and give a presentation to the commission on what they do and hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
And just to that, I was going to mention it as we get to the work item regarding the skate. The Exposure Skate event is November 1st and 2nd. So the event will have happened by the time we have our next meeting. I don't know how local and available they are, but sure, that would make sense. Then maybe they can give a debrief on how this year's event went.
Maybe speak a little bit to maybe the economic impact that they feel like they have given to the city, things that would warrant consideration by the city council to increase their support of their event. Awesome. So perhaps Vice Chair Evers might go ahead and coordinate with Commissioner Capiello to see if we might be able to or Commissioner Kimball, because I know that she met with him directly. That might be a good guest speaker for next month. Moving on to the bylaws, Commissioner Capiello, anything to report there?
There's no new update. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting to see when legal or whatever gets approved, the senior commission's bylaws. But no new news.
Okay, great. And then the next one is the Harborough Seaside Parkway. I'm the lead on that particular one. I do have some information to share. I have met David Lackey, who is the new president of the Cardiff Foundation. If you remember, if you were on everybody was on the commission April 16th of 2024, Rich Reisner came from the Cardiff Foundation, or Cardiff by the Sea Foundation to be exact, and presented basically their big project that they're working on with regards to the Harborough Seaside Trail. And so Rich Reisner has now been concentrating more on his business. He's now working as a vice president with Allison Wilczowski as treasurer, and she's also the director of the Cardiff 101 Main Street organization. So they meet monthly. I'm excited to say that they finally have their new website up. The website address is cardiffbytheseafoundation.org, so very easy to remember. And they can, at this point, accept tax-deductible online donations. So I think that this is an exciting development. back in April of 2020, the Encinitas City Council gave that foundation the right to enter into that area of the Harbor Seaside Trail. That's where the city has agreed to maintain the area, mostly like trash pickup and taking care of weeds, et cetera. And they have a 10-year operating agreement that's been finalized between the foundation and the city. So fortunately, we have kind of a long-term aspect to it. It is a project that have cost estimates up to $3 million that would need to come from public and private sources, so it's a big ask. And so they're just kind of going through the permitting processes and working on the next phases of the parkway. And they will be posting a detailed video on the whole project on their website soon. He also just wanted me to kind of emphasize that the scope of the organization is more than just the parkway. Its mission is to provide aesthetic, cultural, and environmental improvements to the community of Cardiff by the Sea that will advance the general welfare, prosperity, and vibrancy of the community, to provide education about the development, health, and safety of Cardiff by the Sea, and to promote historical and environmental preservation of Cardiff by the Sea, and to carry out other charitable activities. So happy that they have their website up and going, and wish them success on their parkway development. So that's the end of my report on that. I don't think any other members of the ad hoc probably have anything to add, but I certainly want to throw that out. Okay. The next one is the adult fitness equipment, and I'm the lead on that as well. There's really no update on that particular work plan item. It's basically in planning, and we're still working on construction documents. Commissioner Capiello, can you give us an update on any of the tennis court, pickleball court usage?
No update on that. Everything, no news is good news.
Well, it is good when it's quiet. And Manager Norgard, would you agree that in general it's been quiet on that front?
Yes, Chair Ritter, I will concur that it's been quiet on that front. We've had a couple folks ask about rules. We displayed some additional signage. Other than that, we haven't really seen a big push in one way or the other, so just kind of in a holding pattern for now.
And we certainly appreciate Manager Hamer and her team in accommodating pickleballers when we could there at the rec center. So that's was certainly helpful. Moving on to pop-up parks. So Vice Chair Evers, you are the lead on that.
So we have movie night on Saturday, and we're going to set up a pop-up park. So thank you to the staff and Chair Ritter for helping coordinate that. I think we're looking, myself, I'm able to attend, at least in the beginning, before the movie, just to set up and kind of, watch the games. We're looking for some other commissioners maybe to help on Saturday, so any volunteers?
So it would be Saturday, October 25th. Supervisor Nicole White, who was just here, would like to have everything set up and ready to go at 4:45. The activities start at 5. And then the movie itself starts at dusk. So our participation is probably like from 4:30 to 6:30.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
probably
I
shut
don't know.
things down.
Manager
Sunset's
Hamer.
around 6:10. So, we're looking at about 2-hour commitment, and it's at Glen Park in Cardiff. Is there anyone else that might have some availability to help out? I'll be there, and I know she will be as well. Yeah. Okay. We'll take the maybe.
Count me in for a maybe for setup, for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, sometimes the hardest part is doing the setup, particularly that axe throwing game. So I'll be bringing the axe throwing game and the junior cornhole set and the what's the other game? Oh, Connect 4. That was provided by the Encinitas
Yeah,
project
Commissioner
for this.
Quinn helped at, was it Arbor Day? So you know how to help set them up. So yeah, I would love you to be there too. That'd be great. Those are
The worst part of the axe throwing is chasing the axes when the kids miss.
right.
Well, I do love the parental instruction that we were giving them, where if you throw it, you pick it up. So I like that effort. So, any other comments or questions on that? Okay, so that will actually be our last pop-up park that's scheduled for 2025. So we participated in an earlier movie night. We also participated at Cyclovia and, of course, Arbor Day. And so we had 4 activities, and I think the community really, really enjoys having the Commissioners Pop-Up Park as being part of the city events. Moving on to work plan item number 9, Commissioner Quinn, do you have any updates?
This is Trails, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. No real updates. I reached out to Bob Keeley to ask him if there was any meetings coming up, and he said yes. As a matter of fact, tonight, with the Trails Coalition. Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife had surgery that day. I couldn't get away, so I missed that. But it was probably like mine's thinking, that I thought, hey, it's time for a meeting. So I'll check back with him and do that. And also, I'll get with the committee again and have another meeting over croissants and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, December is a biannual meeting. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, perhaps we'll hear more in just January after that meeting. So, great. Thank you for sharing. Commissioner Cormorant, any updates on work plan item number 10?
No motion on this action.
And number 11, the pollinator garden. Commissioner Vander Auer.
No updates unless they're on the schedule for next month.
No real update. My goal is to get them in here next month if that works for them. If not, it'll have to be in January.
All right, moving on to item number 12. Commissioner Kimball is the lead. However, we do have Commissioners Quinn and Capiello here that could provide a report in addition to what we've already discussed.
Yeah, just to reiterate, we're working on a memo. So for the skate facilities and bowl recommendation, obviously we've also the recommendation about the surf permitting is done. We're moving, I know as an ad hoc, we're now moving some focus and time into the volleyball investigation, volleyball usage. So that's it. And just to remind everyone to, if you have time, to make it out to the exposure skate event at POODS at ECP on November 1st and 2nd, I believe, right? Both of those days? I should know this, but my notes say November 1st.
Sounds great. Well, on behalf of the commission, I think that I can say a big thank you to this particular ad hoc that has spent a lot of time and effort. You had a huge work plan item, and just one of them, whether it's skate or whether it's volleyball or surf, I mean, just one of them would have been a big thing to tackle, and for you to be tackling all 3 of them, I think is quite impressive. So, and not only tackling them, but being so thorough in your research and reaching out to the public and staff. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to item number 13, and Commissioner Vander Auer, did you want to speak to that at all?
Just that we continue to distribute the activity guides at events, and I'm sure we'll get an update when the next one's coming out from Manager Hamer.
And then just a question with regards to kind of the promotion of rental spaces. Is there any movement or additional thoughts on that component of it?
I did see a wedding there once. I think it was a wedding. I was parking on the street and there was this big party there. So I think it's being used. I'm not sure if it's been increasing or not, but maybe.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear.
Manager Hamer here. Yes, the marketing and outreach efforts have really made an impact. We have seen an increase in rentals and a variety of different kinds of rentals. So we put our name out there on the Knot and Zola. I know I shared those sites with you, but we're getting lots of positive reviews as well, which is what we wanted to use to continue our marketing. So we definitely have seen an increase. So we really appreciate all the efforts made on behalf of that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. And finally, item number 14. And since Commissioner Kimball is gone, I will speak to it, and then if Vice Chair Evers has anything that she'd like to add, I'll certainly look to her. I just wanted to share with the commission that I did speak with Commissioner Quade Kelly, who is now the chair of the Youth Commission, which actually just recently started up again now that school is back in session. And he wanted to just say that Commissioner Chet Kinzelberg actually was the one that kind of came up with this whole idea of doing geocaching or the adventure labs at city events. And he was so excited to hear that the Parks and Rec Commission actually had this as a work plan item. So it's awesome that we are supporting the Youth Commission as kind of a cross-commission intergenerational, so to speak. I can say that now that I just turned 60. Intergenerational aspect of working with them. So I think that's really exciting. I did put Commissioner Kinzelberg in contact with Commissioner Kimball so that they could talk with each other a little bit more directly via email. So there may be some more opportunities to work together again in the future. I've also spoke with Commissioner Quade Kelly a little bit about mentorship and the idea about senior commissions and commissioners. And when I say senior, ones that have been on the commission for a while, perhaps even working some way into a casual, like no formal, but just kind of a mentorship opportunity with the youth commissioners. Sitting up here, doing meetings, some of these things that we've done in other boards that we've been on, or perhaps in our work. But it's all new to youth, to high schoolers, and there are a lot of questions. And so this might be an opportunity where we could pair one of the youth commissioners with one of the commissioners on a commission where they could kind of work together to help them navigate that and get started a little quicker in doing whatever that they're going to propose on their commission. So we're kind of in early discussions with that, but I just figured I'd share that with the commission and just percolate a little bit, in the event that you might want to mentor, certainly let me know. So with that, I don't have any other questions or comments on that particular one. Do you have anything, Vice Chair Evers? Okay. All right, so I think we've completed the work plan. So let's go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the Park and Operations Report. Manager Norgard.
Thank you, Chair Ritter. Just a couple things tonight. Work is progressing well at D Street Beach Access. The contractor is anticipating getting that open sometime by the end of the month, plus or minus a couple days if there's any weather. So we're looking forward to having that one back open. As a part of a grant that we received from the state of California for beach access and furnishings, We did have some work going on there as well, which was paused while D Street was closed, so we're gonna wrap that work up not long after it opens. It won't affect access at all, but we recently installed some new really nice trash cans out there. They're very large, concrete, and they mirror ones that we put at Moonlight Beach and a couple of the overlooks. So we're looking forward to those improvements there as well. If you happen to make it to Moonlight, we have some new picnic tables, fire pits, trash cans, a bunch of stuff in there that is really kind of helping bring that park up. A series of the fire pits we weren't able to replace this year, but we think we will next year, so that area is going to look great. In addition to that, we're doing some work on a trail out in Olivenhain to add some chicanes to slow down bikes on that road. It's kind of a straight shot, or on that trail rather. It's kind of a straight shot, so we're just going to add like a fencing baffle. So it's two pieces of fence that are parallel to each other but perpendicular to the trail, so a bike has to weave through them, just generally slows them down, similar to the way that a roundabout would on a straight street for cars. That work should be happening probably in the next week or so, so we're looking forward to having that done as well. That concludes my report for Park Ops.
On the fire pits that were replaced, it's the same number were installed that were removed?
Yep, 1 for 1.
And same for picnic tables?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission? All right, let's move on to Manager Hamer. If you'd give us your report, please.
Manager Hamer here. With the Recreation Division, we are, as already mentioned, working on the parade. I know you're still working on your element, but the theme is Peace by the Pacific, so you might have more thoughts to connect with that. Once again, Saturday, December 6th, approximately 4:30 to 8:30, and we're very excited to support you in any way that you want to attract and attach to that theme. Also want to share with you, we have been working on age-friendly Encinitas. We had our last listen and learning session. That was this morning at 10 a.m. at Fox Point Farms. We've received a lot of different information and input from residents. The survey itself had 1,165 responses, so quite robust. And once again, lots of good input. The 5 focus areas are housing, transportation, outdoor spaces and facilities, engagement, and health and wellness. So we look forward to probably in 2026 sharing those results with you, but it's still under development. In January, February, we'll be doing action planning meetings where all that information is collected, and then people will be invited to actually choose the bullets and the points that they want to go back to council. So we'll make sure you have those dates, but we're excited about that moving along and being embraced by the community. Our Encinitas Community and Senior Center had 7,000 visits in the month of September. 874 visits were for the gym, and 800 were in our banquet hall. That's where we have many of our rentals. And we did have some great reviews. I'll email them to you because I don't need to read them off here, but they're all very, very positive. This week is fall camps. We have well over 100 children right now in session enjoying a wide range of activities from surfing to sandcastles on the beach. This Saturday, as already noted, is that movie in the park. It's Hotel Transylvania. And I cannot say enough, the families really enjoy your pop-up parks. And I know Commissioner Evers knows from being there, they love it. The kids love it, whether it's the axis flying, the hula hoops going. It's just a really fun activity for families to engage in that's not intense, it's not too competitive, it's just light and fun. And it really adds a lot to our events, as well as the physical activity for the families. Because once the movie starts, they have to sit down and hunker in. They don't get to run around anymore. So thank you for doing that. I know that everybody enjoys it, so we really appreciate it. Last but not least, Halloween, Friday, October 31st, is a safe trick-or-treat that is going to be hosted at Pacific View Arts Center, as well as all of downtown. It's an Encinitas 101 activity from 5 to 8 p.m. So even if you're not a trick-or-treater, it would be fun to roam around in Encinitas 101 area, go by Pacific View Arts Center, see some of those fun costumes, and participate somehow in the celebration. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you very much for the report. Any comments or questions from the commission?
I just wonder, are there any vendor support for the movie night this time? Any
Sponsors? Yes, we do have sponsors that will be there, definitely. Encinitas 101 is one of them. We're encouraging costumes, so there'll be a little bit of costume contest, and sponsors always participate in those prizes. And I believe the Kick Force will be there again. There's Nicole White, as we had mentioned, who was here earlier. She does a great job of engaging the businesses and community, and so they will be there as well. Last but not least, we also have our arts division team that comes in our Scout House. So they do set up tables, and they, of course, because it's the arts division, they do a great job offering a craft and an art activity. So that's kind of an extra enhancement we have. And then they'll be using the theme of the movie, and we'll have some characters from Hotel Transylvania.
And will the Scout House be a haunted house this year, or is it going to be used for the crafts?
They have two rooms. So the one room will be, the front room will be for the arts division's art project, and then the other room will be featured the Hotel Transylvania. A little spooky, and they'll be using the theme of the movie. There's like a daughter and a father. There'll be characters there kind of embracing the theme of the movie, which I haven't seen yet, but I hear it's good.
Well, now you have an opportunity to see it this Saturday. All right, fantastic. Any other comments or questions? All right, then moving on to item number 10. Are there any commission member initiated agenda items? And any future agenda items that are to be added by commissioners? All right, with that, let's go ahead and...
I was going to suggest one. The folks here before that were from the team sports, the soccer, rugby. Well, I think once we get their briefing, maybe we could put them on the agenda and see. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure what the ask was when they briefed us. So maybe that would be, well, maybe we'll see what we get from them.
Yeah, if I can just piggyback on that, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that back up again. I couldn't fully understand what they were referring to, so maybe we can hear from the city too on maybe in a future meeting about what the issue is and what they're asking
Possibly
for.
we could invite them to do a longer presentation. And the theme is that there's not enough space or time or lights, and it's something they've been struggling with. They have met with a council member who shared that they should be starting here at our Parks and Rec Commission to share their concerns and their voice. But, if chosen and it's planned in advance, it could be that they do a longer presentation to give more detail.
Yeah, they didn't seem to have time to get their point across and go through there. So maybe we could give them the opportunity to speak.
I agree. I think adding them to the agenda so that they could share their thoughts a little bit more thoroughly, and then perhaps we could also hear from staff. I think that would be definitely worthwhile to do. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily align well with any specific work plan item that we currently have, but I feel like it's an important community thing that we should certainly further research and hear community input. So with that, Manager Hamer, could you reach out with them to see if they might be available for either our November meeting or our January meeting, where they would have 10 minutes or so to more fully express their presentation, and then perhaps we could also at that point hear from city staff about how we're trying to mitigate some of the issues and if there's anything that the commission can do to help.
Yes, I'll work with Manager Norgard and Director Knopp to put something together with them.
Okay, fantastic.
And if they do send you that briefing, maybe you could forward it to us. That would be great.
Definitely. Awesome.
And I mean, just to add to that, I know there's not something specific on our work item, but it seems like the overarching responsibility we have is like the use of the parks and our recreation programs. So this is pretty much on point. And if this could be a way that we can consider whether or not to include an action item or a work plan item as to all the other sports that are incorporated within volleyball, surf and skate, that pickleball that's getting all the attention in the last year or so. Perhaps we can add all the other sports that utilize the fields as something to be keeping an eye on and making sure we're getting the best use in the area as well.
Do we know which council member pointed them in our direction?
They did have a field meeting with Councilmember Schaefer.
Okay.
And yes, he was encouraging, and the thought being that the community is growing and that demand is just going to continue to grow with everything else, as we know.
Of course. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Commissioner Kummerow, for that suggestion. I think it's a great one. Any other comments? Oh, we have another one?
I think it goes kind of in line with field allocation, which we worked on previously. And also if it would be appropriate or helpful to have Parker come in and give a little feedback too.
That sounds great. All right, fantastic. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to commission roundtable reports. We'll go ahead and start at the end, and we'll just work this way.
I have nothing further tonight. Thank you.
Ditto. I have nothing further either. Thank you.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Well, that's no fun. We've had two and a half very intense meetings that went over the 2 hours, and now we've just gotten it back.
Are you just going to TikTok this till
I'm going to
7?
go for 30 more minutes. Going to go for 30 more minutes because that's what I allocated. No, we have done a lot of work in the last. I'm just really happy with how the commission's been moving forward on some of these more heavy lifting type of items, and I appreciate y'all. And one shout out to Commissioner Vanderwouwer, who has my phone number somehow, which I hope everyone does, because I would have missed that Parks tour because I totally forgot about it, and she called me. And so that's how come we had a quorum. So thank you for having my number, and luckily I'm in town, so I was able to make it. Yeah.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Well, you got to speak a lot in last meeting, right? All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank Vice Chair Evers for doing a fabulous job managing the meeting last month in my absence. So thank you very much. You did a great job. I also wanted to acknowledge again the amazing work that the skate, volleyball, and surf ad hoc is doing, and we certainly appreciate all the time and effort that you're putting into that, bringing back some really valuable information for the commission to consider, and also connecting us with the community, which is critical for us to really make decisions. So with that, I'll go ahead and end the meeting. Wow, it's even before 7 o'clock. So it is 6:58. And I go ahead and close the meeting. Thank you.